Welcome, Gunrunner.
Everybody, Q&A Catherlad here, and in my midweek video this week I have another book review for you, and it's one that I actually wasn't expecting to be doing. I was planning to do something else. I was planning to look at some more magazines, and then this turned up out the blue. I had no idea it was coming, but it was certainly a very welcome surprise to see. So there we go. As you can see, it is the 8-bit annual 2019. This is something that's been going, I believe, for quite a few years now, these 8-bit annuals. And I think there's an 8-bit, they did an 8-bit magazine as well. I must admit, I was out the loop slightly, but when I saw the 8-bit annual 2019 announced, and one of my friends, shout out to Andrew Fisher, aka Merman, kind of told me about it and said it was something I was interested in getting involved in. I leapt at the opportunity and spoke to the people putting the book together, John Kavanagh and George Batchelor, and away we go. Before I knew it, I was coming up with all sorts of ideas for articles and stuff to go in there. So we will take a look through it, and I'll show you obviously some of the stuff that I've put in and stuff that other people have put in. So obviously it's 8-bit annual, so it's just covering 8-bit systems. So we've got, Amstrad CPC, we've got Atari 8-bit, Atari 2600, we've got Commodore 64, we've got BBC Micro, we've got MSX, there's NES in there, Sega Master Systems, ZX Spectrum, pretty much everything you can think of when it comes to 8-bit hardware. So it's a pretty big old book. I'm not actually sure what the page count is. Let's have a look. So 220, 222. So it's roughly about 230 pages. So there we go. So it's a pretty decent big old thing with a nice hardback cover, just like the annuals of yesteryear, really. When Beano and Dandy and Whizzer and Chips and Buster and all of those great stuff. I actually want to stay with the cover. I'm not a massive fan of the cover. I don't really feel like it works. The text looks out of place with the different fonts against that image. I don't like the way it's orientated. I wasn't a fan of the artwork in general. For me, it didn't work. So there might be some people who are fans, but for me, yeah, I just don't feel that artwork works particularly well. I'm gonna try and move the camera back a little bit because I don't think I'm getting the whole thing in frame. So obviously it starts off with your usual contents, what's in the book, split down by format and their awards that they give for certain games. Then there's some stuff about the people who wrote for it. Then it starts with a really, really nice tribute to Rick Dickinson, who obviously we lost to cancer fairly recently. Very sad, the designer of the ZX81 and, of course, more famously, I suppose, actually, there's the ZX Spectrum. So yeah, it's a QL, another thing that he designed. Then we've got a really nice bit on pixel art from Andy Green, who's just done an absolutely wonderful book about pixel art. Because he's quite well known for basically what he's done is he's taken lots of old games that didn't have loading screens or had really rubbish loading screens on the Spectrum, and then he's remade them and done brand new loading screens for them. Also made some other really nice images and stuff, in the constraints of the original ZX Spectrum colour palette, with colour clash and attribute problems and all that. And basically he decided to make a book about them because everyone loved them so much. So I really do recommend Andy Green's pixel art book. I was hoping to have a copy by now for doing a review in this channel, but it hasn't arrived yet. So hopefully that will be coming up on my channel as well, a review of that book, because I helped him a little bit with getting that book together. And he went through the same publisher as me, so that was always good. So there we go, Amstrad CPC Chess. And then it goes into an interview And there's lots of these interviews. There's interviews with some collectors as well as you know, people who coded games. There's a bit about Atari games being featured in Tesla cars. There's some stuff about the basic one-liners contest, which is pretty cool to see, because it is absolutely amazing what some people managed to do with just 10 lines of basic. Actually managed to make some quite playable games, especially on the machines with more advanced basic, you know, like the Atari 8-bit, for example. And then we've got some stuff about Rodman, which is a really cool game because basically the guy converted it to like everything. As you can see, there's a Oric version there, there's MSX, there's Spectrum, there's Atari. He basically did everything in there. So then it goes to some Commodore 64 reviews. I don't want to show you all of them, so I'm kind of skipping through a little bit. The Commodore 64 section is pretty big, as you can imagine. Super Mario Brothers there. One of my kittens, well, my new kitten is causing chaos in the background, so don't be surprised if she decides that she wants to be in the video in a minute, because she's literally just to the left of the camera. And she's trying to attack a cushion at the moment, so yeah, she's a bit crazy. She's very, very young. She's a dinky little thing. Short reviews. There's some more stuff about program competition that was held. The shoot 'em up construction kit competition that's held every year, so there's some stuff about that as well. Then there's stuff about the crap games competitions, and then we're going to Amstrad CPC stuff, so there's lots of that. One of the people behind the book is like a huge Amstrad CPC fan, so obviously that computer gets quite a substantial amount of content in this book, probably more than most people would actually expect. And we're into Spectrum, Gandalf, Roust, Nixie the Glade Sprite, which of course is one of the images that appears on the cover. Got an amazing, you probably can't see that there because of the camera, 98%. So that got a pretty incredible review there. Bobby Carrot, Exterminator, Robots Rumble, Burner, Sponsorship Racing. Oh, we're into MSX now, so there's some good, really good MSX stuff as well. Inferno, that's the one that is very, very good. I tried that out myself. One that's not so good. They actually gave a game 10% there. A game called Z. Wonderful. Lots of reviews to the Atari 2600. These are all small format, I think. I think all the Atari 2600 reviews are kind of these like mini reviews like this, but there's lots of them, absolutely loads of them. Then there's a few NES reviews, not many at all actually. I think there's only about 4 or 5. Some Master System stuff, again that's a lot of mini reviews. And then we've got Atari 8-bit, and this is some of the stuff that I contributed. So I put in a review of a Stunt Car Racer, which is an absolutely stunning conversion to the Atari 8-bit. Which anyone who's seen it or played it will know. You can actually see that my kitten now in the top left hand corner of the camera, I've just noticed. She's got a bit closer. She's still killing the cushion. Jack the Nipper, which is another conversion to the Atari, using the Spectrum graphics. And School Days, another conversion where they took the 64 version and put it onto the Atari. And it's absolutely magnificent, probably one of my favourite games on the Atari 8-bit, but I loved it on the Spectrum originally. So then we go to, it's a shame actually there's not more Atari reviews. I did offer to do more, but obviously space was quite limited in the book, and I never got the chance to write anymore, but I had about another 3 or 4 that I wanted to write. So it's a shame that I never got to put more in, but I will put those reviews into my own books instead. So obviously my Atari 8-bit compendium, which has just come out, and others. So Prince of Persia on the BBC. I did some BBC reviews as well. Again, that's almost like right up there, kind of like with Stunt Car Racer being, you know, a game that no one really thought was going to be possible on that machine, and it was, and it's absolutely amazing. Really stunning conversion of Prince of Persia on the good old Beeb. I've got a lot of affection for the Beeb, having, you know, used one a lot at school, plus my next door neighbour, who was one of my best friends, had a BBC Micro. So a lot of experience over the years with the BBC. And I've got a lot to thank the BBC for. My highest grade in school was my A that I got for GCSE Computer Studies. So yes, Thank you very much, BBC. Phoenix and Centipede by Richard Broadhurst. His although there are clones of those in the BBC already, he wanted to make kind of arcade perfect conversions of those games, and he very much succeeded because they're brilliant. And there's some more BBC reviews by somebody else, Maze of Madness and Darkness of Ravenwood. I think both are text adventures. There's an interview that I submitted for Mark Noonan, who was the owner of Abex Electronics, who did some quite cool stuff for the Spectrum back in the day. So I put together a nice interview with him to give our point of difference, just to show it's not, you know, kind of all homebrew stuff. There's a guy who, you know, from back in the day. There was an interview with Richard Broadhurst, whose games I reviewed just a few pages back. Some stuff about Digitize the Show, Aetherbyte Studios, and some other stuff as well, interviews wise. Interviews with lots of different people. Clive Townsend, did Saboteur stuff with him, and about the 8-bit annual dev contest that was held. And that's about it, really. I say I don't want to tell you too much of it. And then all the people who backed the book on Kickstarter. But yes, it's a really, 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 really nice book. And let's stuck to the back there. And that's it. And on the back, there's a really nice thing about the Atari links, the anniversary contest to program games that was run through the Atari Gamer website. Although the links is obviously 16-bit, not 8-bit, it was still quite cool to see that on the back of the book, especially seeing as that competition was completely ignored by Retro Gamer magazine, who failed to cover the Lynx's 30th birthday at all, and didn't even mention that programming competition, which brought about some absolutely stunning releases for the Lynx. Some really, really amazing stuff that, you know, deserves to be seen by more people. So if you haven't seen the results of that contest, I do suggest you go and look it up, and I'll be recovering some of the games in my upcoming Atari Lynx digital book, cheap plug there, which is coming out soon, and will be available from Amazon as always, and lots of other places. So yes, so the Atari 8-bit annual, not Atari 8-bit, the 8-bit annual even, 2019. Very nice book, well worth picking up, especially if you're into your homebrew gaming. You know, the selection of titles in there is massive. There's something for pretty much everybody in there, which is great to see. So yeah, I think this is a book that's gonna appeal to a lot of people. The layouts are gorgeous. You know, it's been really nicely put together. There's some really, really stunning you know, layouts, and makes the graphics and the games look excellent in there. And here's my kitten, and so she wants to come and say hello. She's just run off again, so she's obviously a bit camera shy. She's only very, very young, as I said. Hopefully she'll come back down again. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed my look at the 8-bit annual. I will link down below where you can buy it, as always, because I'm pretty sure these are rolling out to just about everybody now, and you will be able to order them yourself. I can't remember exactly what the price is, but Woolworths is not the cheapest. But then when you've got a big full colour thing like that, you wouldn't really expect it to be, would you? So for me and my little kitten Daisy, as you can see on the camera, she's definitely camera shy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again for another video very soon. Bye bye.